From The Reporter, the paper of record for Delaware County's towns and villages, this is Delaware County Off the Record, a quick look at the latest county news. I'm Andrew Kantor, and this week we've got ATVs on the streets of Walton, maybe, leaking emergency buildings, a warning about real estate fraud, and more. So let's get to it. We'll start with, well, this won't be controversial at all. Walton is considering a new law that would allow ATVs and off-road vehicles on all village streets. The idea, introduced by Mayor Bjorn Eilertson, is to help those riders get access to recreational trails, but only if they follow a long list of requirements. We're talking headlights, taillights, working brakes. Brakes are kind of important. Proof of insurance, no going over 25 miles an hour. Riders would also at least need to be 16, and their vehicles must be designed for road use and compliant with state law. And it's that last part that's the problem. Residents pointed out that many UTVs can't be registered in New York, so they can't comply with that state law about driving on village streets. And that opened the floodgates with all sorts of questions about enforcement, identification, safety, as you can imagine. A public hearing is set for June 23rd. In the meantime, grab your helmets and definitely grab your popcorn. Big changes are coming to Delaware Valley Hospital in Walton. Plans are moving ahead for a 4-story, 113,000 square foot medical facility that's going to replace the outdated primary care building and parts of the existing hospital. The new space is supposed to be a quote-unquote medical neighborhood. It's one location where patients can access outpatient care, specialty services, even administrative support. The goal is convenience, less driving, more services. Village trustees there just approved the final zoning and environmental steps, and with state health department approval expected in the next few weeks, construction could begin as early as September. Good news for Roxbury and Grand Gorge. New York State is investing nearly $10 million into a baker's dozen of community projects in both hamlets. The funding comes from the state's Downtown Revitalization Initiative and the New York Forward program, and it's after about a year of work by local volunteers and state officials. The projects, they range from sidewalk upgrades, trail improvements, to major overhauls of public spaces like the Grand Gorge Civic Center and the historic Reed Hotel. There's also support for the arts, for downtown businesses, and even for student housing and animation studios. Town officials say it's a huge step towards keeping residents, attracting newcomers, and, just breathing new life into the areas. Delaware County's emergency communications buildings are cracking up, and not in the fun way. Cracks have appeared in the roofs of all 8 sites, despite the fact that they were all built less than a decade ago. When the first 3 started showing damage, the contractor, VFP Industries, they blamed condensation. But then the same thing happened to the rest of the buildings, so probably not condensation. VFP did a warranty patch job with some rubber sealant, but surprise, it didn't hold. I wonder if they tried bubblegum, duct tape. I'm kidding. Anyway, the county is looking at a better fix, some heavy-duty rubber roofs from a company in Illinois, but it'll cost about $7,000 per building. Emergency Services Director Steve Hood says the county might try to make VFP pay for it, but in the meantime, he's not waiting around. It's only a matter of time, he said. And you've seen Titanic, right? Walton officials are considering a zoning change that isn't really a zoning change, and that's the confusion they want to clear up. The proposal would add a quote-unquote conditional use to an area of the village that's right now zoned for multifamily homes. Basically, it would allow a company to apply to build a resort-style development there. I'm thinking cabins, small store, cafe. It doesn't mean they could build it, just that they could apply for permission to build it, because that's the conditional part of conditional use. Why the interest in this resort thing? Village trustees, they've had some conversations about the Sheffield Pond property, where the owners are thinking of creating a cabin-style retreat. The officials say this is not a rezoning, it's not a new zoning district, just a tweak to what's allowed on the existing one. A public hearing is set in Walton for June 23rd.
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson!
Delaware County Clerk Haley Gransbury has a warning for property owners. Real estate fraud is on the rise and it's getting harder to spot. Gransbury said that scammers are targeting vacant land and seasonal homes, sometimes coming really close to actually completing fraudulent sales before anyone catches on. In one case from Madison County, a scammer pretended to be the owner, listed a summer home, changed the locks, and almost sold it until a neighbor tipped off the real owner. So, score one for nosy neighbors. Gransbury says that new technology like online notaries, AI-powered identity spoofing, it's making it easier for fraudsters to fake ownership. Her advice? And jot this down. Sign up for Delaware County's free property monitoring alerts through the county clerk's website. They'll notify you if a deed or mortgage is filed in your name. It's not foolproof, but it is a first line of defense, and these days that might be all that stands between you, your property, and a very convincing con. And that's it for this week's Off the Record, but there's plenty more in The Reporter, in print or online at the-reporter.net. Like why Treadwell won't be getting federal money for its water project, Walton's big summer plans, yes, including the 4-H Club duck race, Sidney's 85-year-old sex offender, and more. Until next week, I'm Andrew Kantor. Thanks for being here.